Are we recording? Yeah.
Good
all right,
stuff.
sir.
All right, so
Happy holidays, sir.
yeah, you too.
What's this cheers?
the
You wanna
cheers?
do?
It's a lengthy one, but it goes something like this. So this is to this is to the people we've met, and to the people we fucked, and to those of us who have had no such luck. This is to vodka in the glass and beer in the cup. This is to poking her in the ass so she won't get knocked up. This is to all of you, and this is to me. Together as friends we'll always be. But if we should ever disagree, then fuck all you. Here's to me. Cheers.
That's an interesting one.
Oh man, this reminds me of the mimosas they serve you on airplanes right before takeoff. Yeah.
I'm going away to Florida in January 11th to the 19th.
Nice.
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Not Tampa. Gonna go to Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, fuck, you're gonna be like with all the Québécois là.
I'm staying in. I'm going with my girlfriend. I'm staying in Hollywood.
Okay.
So
With all the
that's-
Québécois.
Yeah, with all the Kebs.
At Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah.
How they say it.
I said that too. I'm like, there's gonna be a lot of Kebs there. She's like, I mean, she's used to working with Kebs and stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, she works at l'Académie in Anjou,
Okay.
and no one there speaks English.
No.
Isn't it really crazy how when you go outside of Montreal, or I would even say outside of the West Island,
Yeah.
how a lot of these people, like, not only are they francophone, it's fine, you can be francophone, nothing against them, but like, they don't speak English.
At all whatsoever. But you know what? It's at the same time you go anywhere else in Canada, nobody speaks French. So
Yeah, I did notice in Ottawa, there's actually a fair bit of bilingualism.
yeah, a little bit for sure. It depends. There's a lot of French communities in Ontario.
Yeah,
Like Eastern Ontario, like Alexandria,
Yeah.
Hawkesbury even.
but they all speak English.
But
like
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hawkesbury would be the only one where like a lot of them don't really speak English. But if you're in like Alexandria, you're in those like towns around there, they like they're French, but they all speak perfect English.
Of course. But that's the problem, right? Here, I kind of get it a little bit. Sure, Quebec has its unique history and culture, but I think speaking as many languages as possible is the best thing. You go to Europe, every country in Europe, except for France, obviously, but every country in Europe, they'll speak their mother tongue, they'll speak English, and then they'll speak a third language. Like it's mandatory in school. And oftentimes it's going to be French or German, or even Spanish sometimes. Meanwhile, you're here in Canada, you go to, Alberta, nobody speaks like French.
No, Alberta, even Toronto. Toronto's kind of the same thing. Unless you're from Montreal, like you're not.
I mean,
gonna speak
Toronto
English.
is bilingual. It is. I mean, they're going to speak English and fucking Hindi.
Yeah,
you
that's
saw
true.
that one coming. You were like,
yeah,
where's it going?
yeah. Okay, where are we going here?
Where are we going with that? It's true. I mean, fuck, considering now that Canada is the second largest Indian population outside of India.
I know.
Congratulations.
I know.
I like butter chicken. I do. It's
Yeah,
great.
I like Indian food. I went to a nice Indian restaurant the other day. It was on Sources. Masala. I forget what it was. I ordered 2 things. It was like $30. Holy shit. Like, it was absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
Indian food's good. I like Indian
It
food.
is. Vindaloo, like a good Vindaloo.
Yeah.
It's the key to.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the key to my heart, and maybe also the key to an evening in the the fucking
On
toilet.
the can.
On the can.
Yeah.
There you go.
Why do you think Quebecers, they get like, do you think it's like an intentional, the government trying to keep them,
Dumb and poor.
I wouldn't say dumb and poor, but like kind of ignorant, I guess would be the word.
Well,
like
of course.
for, you know what I mean? Like if you're, this has always been my theory. And again, like you're francophone, like you speak perfect French.
My mother tongue is French.
And so for me, my French is like, I would say I'm fluent, but it's like, I always found that, so let's say for example, you're a Quebecer and live in Quebec City, or you live in Trois-Rivières, or you live in one of these cities, like you're stuck in Quebec because you don't speak English. You can't go to the US, you can't go anywhere else outside of Quebec. You can't go anywhere because you only speak French.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like intentional by the government, or do you think this is just kind of the natural evolution of how things have happened?
Intentional, I don't know. However, I'd say that, like, I used to play hockey in Trois-Rivières every freaking weekend. My father and I would drive to Trois-Rivières, we'd play hockey over there. The amount of people outside.
And your father francophone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Both my parents are Quebecois. fuck us
Okay,
against.
so you speak to your parents in French.
Nowadays a little less because my French actually sucks. So
Okay.
the little history behind it is until the age of 14, I didn't speak a word of English. Not a word.
Jeez.
I was like,
You're francophone.
like Quebecois as fuck.
Ketchup toast there.
Oh yeah, it was yes, no toaster and parking lot. It was horrible. Didn't speak a word.
Okay.
And I got a scholar. So I went to a French high school for grade 7 and 8. Secondaire 1 et 2 pour les Québécois. And then, because obviously Law 101, for the people who don't know, if your parents went to French school, the kid is not allowed to go to English school, right?
Yeah.
So this is a law we have in Quebec to protect the French language. I think it's freaking stupid and backwards, but regardless. So the only way for a Francophone to go to an English school is to go to a fully private, zero subsidy school. And they're all like, back in the days, were like $15,000, $20,000 a year. So I got a scholarship to go to Cooper Academy for hockey, and normally the deal over there was that if you went on a athletic scholarship, you had to play your target sport, the one that you're being recruited for, and 2 extra sports. So I told them, fuck that. I'm going there for hockey and hockey only. I don't want the other sports. No way. So they allowed me. So I remember the summer between grade 8 and grade 9, I had to take private tutoring. I had to pay this little, I remember his name was like Mr. Chang or something like that. He was a Chinese guy who taught at Cooper as well. He was an English teacher. But I had to take tutoring with this guy because I did not speak a lick of English.
Like you didn't understand it either?
At all whatsoever.
And you grew up in Pierrefonds?
No, Beaconsfield.
What?
Yeah.
You grew up in Beaconsfield and didn't speak English?
Yeah, believe it or not. I didn't speak.
How?
Well, my parents are from Quebec. Well, like, they're Quebecois, they're French
But like your
speakers.
whole neighborhood was most likely English.
Yeah, but there's a French school over there. I went to École Saint-Rémy. And there's also like EPB, École Primaire Beaconsfield as well.
Yeah.
They're all French schools. So I was like in a little French ecosystem. And to make matters worse, I played hockey for Lakeshore. That is 100% English. Nobody speaks French for Lakeshore.
Jeez. Okay,
So I was in a dressing room. I was just sitting there, didn't understand shit. Sometimes, your coach would ask you questions, and I'd be there like all shy to answer. I'd be like, yes, I give 100% effort. Like, that's it. I didn't understand shit. So I took those tutoring classes, started the school year in grade 9.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for a fact that I was on a hockey team and I knew like all the players, I would have gone bullied so fucking hard because, the rivalry between French and English. People like to chirp on
like
on
I
French.
I played for West Island. So it's like
course.
West Island and Lakeshore, we were the Anglo teams.
Of
And
course,
every other
of
team
course.
was Francophone predominantly.
Yeah. So I would have gone chirped so hard if it wasn't for a fact I was on a hockey team. So I was like protected a little bit, I guess you could say. And you all do, the cool kids. And because, hockey players rule the school. It's like football players in the U.S., basically. And within 6 months, it just went from nothing to 100% bilingual. I remember being in class, English class, my teacher asked me a question. And normally what I would do, I would think in French, translate in my head, and answer. And that time I just like thought in English, and I just answered him. I was like, holy fuck, what happened right there?
Would you say you're more Anglophone today?
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
I express myself better in English, not in French.
It's also like easier to,
it's a better language when it comes to ease.
It's simple.
It's simpler, yeah.
It's very simple.
Yeah. But then I moved to Alberta, and I lived in Toronto for a while. I lived in Gloucester. In Canada,
You lived in Gloucester?
I lived in Gloucester.
Wow,
yeah.
what were you doing in
I
Gloucester?
was playing hockey, junior A over there.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. So I played
Gloucester.
for the Rangers over there. So that was part of the CH. At the time, it was the CCHL, the Central Canadian Hockey League. So I played junior A over there. Strumy used to play for Brockville, I believe.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'd play against that guy,
Yeah.
And
Strumy.
yeah, fucking Strumy, They had a good team. We were okay, but they were pretty good. Brockville, they were good.
It's like if you actually think about having the life if you're like an 18 or 19-year-old, like whether you're playing in the Q, whether you're playing junior A or junior AAA, and like you just kind of all you do is go play hockey. You're living in a shit town. There's nothing to do. And Shroom would always tell me, you just go, the only thing you can do is just basically go to the casino or go to the local bar. You're poor. You have no money. So you basically, you drink before. You get there, hope that a couple of people at the bar know who you are and they buy you a beer, and that's pretty much it.
It was
because you're not going there with over like if you have $40, like you're rich that night.
You are, yeah. It was the best time ever. So again, in Gloucester, because we're in the suburbs of Ottawa over there, right? So I was living with a billet family, like most people from out of town were living. And I remember one day after practice, we had like practice on Saturday, and we went across. They used to call it the funny waters. So Gatineau is on one side of the shore, the other side is Ottawa.
Yeah.
And the English people there would call it crossing the funny waters because Quebec is a weird freaking place.
Yeah.
And a lot of our guys on the team were like 17 or 18.
Yeah.
And they couldn't drink in Ontario because it's 19.
And they're more strict about it too.
They're more strict.
Yeah.
So they would say, let's cross the funny waters.
Yeah.
Let's go to fucking Quebec and drink, right? So one day after practice, like 11 a.m., we head over to Gatineau. We go to a casino, Lac Lemay Casino. And we've just fucking I lost all my money. I didn't have much again, maybe like $100.
Yeah.
But this the backup goalie, so I was the starting goalie for the team. The backup goalie freaking made a killing, maybe like $5K. And back then that was a lot of money, man. It was a lot of money.
Jeez.
So we're there. We're like, what are we going to do with that money? So, I mean, I don't know if I can say this on camera, but we ended up having a great time with $5,000, you know. Opened a phone book. Back then, everything was in a phone book, and I let him choose which number to call, and then we had a fucking good time at a billet's house.
Hockey players, they're all the same.
Oh, we really, yeah, we are.
They're all the same. Do you follow hockey anymore?
Not anymore, man.
Yeah, I don't follow it at all either. Ever since I got rid of cable, like I don't even watch. Like I don't even know like a lot of the new hockey players, the NHL. I don't know anything. The only sport I follow is basically football because of DAZN. I have I have the subscription with DAZN. Great product.
Do you gamble on? Do you gamble
no, I don't. I'm not a gambler. No. Like I don't get the rush. Like I'll gamble playing golf. I'll gamble on myself. I'm definitely up in my lifetime on those gambles, but it's also like there's no house odds, so you're betting on yourself, and even like at the end of everything, it's like a 50-50 chance. I like to think it's a little higher. I'd probably say it's like I'm probably winning like 60% of the time, lose 40% of the time, which is pretty good. But going to a casino, I don't get a rush from it. I don't gamble.
So
I find it really stupid.
What's your poison? What's your vice?
My vice would be like drinking. Yeah. So it's like I definitely keep an eye on that. That's my vice.
It's not the Zins.
Well, the Zins too, but like that's why I exercise a lot. That's if you want to call that a vice. What about you? What's your vice?
Oh God! Again, I can't say this on camera. No, but I like drinking as well. I do. Yeah. Alcohol is good here and there. I don't drink nearly as much as I used to.
Yeah, same.
And like in your 20s, I guess it's kind of like the day-to-day thing, you know?
Yeah.
But nowadays, I don't know. I'd rather go to the gym. I'd rather be like fresh and rested for a day.
Yeah.
And obviously not today because I woke up at 11.
Yeah.
And like to give you an idea, it's 1:45 right now. So yeah, I woke up like 2.5 hours ago.
But it's very easy if I find to like fall into a trap where, let's say, for example, you finish like a really hard days of work and you want to just, because the thing about alcohol is it allows you to live hyper in the present.
Yeah.
And you don't worry about consequences. You can like all the thoughts in your head, you can shut them off. That's why a lot of guys drink during golf. So if you drink during golf, because your nerves, and it's like this for any other sport, but you can't drink, for example, if you're playing basketball or playing hockey, because your athletic performance will significantly drop. For golf, if you're at that sweet spot, not where you're hammered, where you lose your coordination, but let's say you're like 4 beers deep, the thoughts stop. So when you're over, because when you're playing golf, you want to be fluid. You want to just swing the ball. You don't want to think. So if you're, let's say, for example, playing in a tournament, and you know you're over the ball, you're a little nervous. What are you nervous about? You're nervous about your next shot, about something going wrong, but you're nervous about something that hasn't even happened yet. So what the analogy I like to always give for if you're drinking while you're playing golf is that little voice. Let's say you're over the ball going, watch out for the water on the right, and all of a sudden you're gonna be a little tighter, you're gonna be a little more hesitant to swing the club. That thought, that voice isn't even there, so it allows you to just swing a lot more fluid.
But isn't that for everything in life though?
It definitely is.
I mean, I don't know if you guys have done this here, but you know, again with Biz back in the day, sometimes we would actually like have a couple of drinks before making some sales calls. The guys would perform better. A couple of drinks,
like cold calls.
Yeah, cold calls.
Oh yeah. It's the I did that once when I was younger. Like we were at the bar, and because when I first started working in insurance, we were like I started off, I did 3 months just cold calling. That was my job because I didn't have my license yet, so I couldn't sell insurance, but I would just call to get expiry dates of people's insurance policies. And this one day, so we were out at the beach for the whole day, so I'm like, fuck, I gotta go to work. So I go to work and I'm just like dialing for dollars. So from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. That was my shift. And I was drunk when I got there. I got the most expiry dates I ever got, because you're not thinking, you don't care. You're like, hey Steve, how you doing? Like, yes, this is who is this? It's Curtis. I'm calling from KBD Insurance. No, this is a cold call. No, it's not a cold call. I was just calling to see if I wasn't calling to sell you anything. You know, but you're smooth.
You're in it.
But when you're smooth like that, it doesn't really matter what you say. It's how you say it.
But that's like that with everything in life.
Yes.
Right? People are so hung up on the little details, the words.
Yes.
Right? I used to see this all the time when my buddies would go out at night, right? And like we'd go out and they want to pick up some girls, for example. Like, what do I say? I said, dude, it doesn't matter. Talk about blueberry muffins for all I care. It's how
your tone and your body language.
There you go. You know, communication is mostly nonverbal anyways.
Correct.
You know, people don't realize that.
Yes.
So again, the content of what you're saying is like 10% of the entire interaction. 70% is probably going to be your body language, your sub-communication, your eye contact, you name it. And then like 20% is going to be delivery, how you say it.
Yeah.
You know, are you talking with a high voice? Or are you like calm, cool, and composed? Yeah. You're talking with a low voice that way.
Yeah.
Fuck, I can really go like that.
It's true. And there's just like, there's something in, like, if I want to hire a sales guy, or a saleswoman, but we'll look at this for a sales guy more in particular.
Fucking sexist, man.
If a guy has, this is true. If the kid is good at picking up women, he's probably gonna be a good salesperson. Like it's a fact.
Oh yeah.
Like if what do you have to do to pick up a girl, a good-looking girl? You have to be, like looks matter, but to a point. Like
for guys, it doesn't matter that much, to be honest.
I agree.
How many guys do you see that are fucking butt ugly and they're pulling straight 10s?
Because they're confident.
Look, for a guy, it's a heck of a lot more about who you are, what you do, and how you do it. And I'm not talking about your job
status.
here. Yeah. Status, the quality of who you are, the quality of your person, than it is your looks. But the problem is a lot of guys, and I'll let you get back to it because it's super interesting, but a lot of guys, they look at it through their own eyes. Like, we value beauty, right? We value a girl's look. Sure, personality is good too, but
beauty, purity,
we're drawn to that first and foremost. So many guys are like, well, fuck, if that's what I like, then that means a girl likes that too.
No.
And they're hitting the gym all day long. And you know what? The attention they get is not even from girls, it's from other bros. You know what I mean? The amount of guys that are fucking jacked. They look like clouds, man. These guys are ripped. And you know what? They're like, yeah, ever since I got ripped, it's not girls that give me attention. It's other dudes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's like, no, you're right.
But yeah, so regarding the salesman.
No, it's just like if a kid is good at picking up girls, it means that, like, I guarantee you no shy guy is going to be really good at picking up girls. It's just, it doesn't exist.
It's impossible.
If they're good at picking up girls and the women like them and they're comfortable and they're smooth talkers, like, it is, generally speaking, a sign that they will be good in sales because they're probably witty, they're probably confident. Yeah. And like you said, looks don't matter that much. I mean, you can't look like Shrek, but, like, you don't have to be Brad Pitt in order to pick up hot.
You just can't look like a bum. Right. So
correct.
You just can't look like a bum as long as you're like well groomed or dressed decently.
You just take care of yourself.
There you go.
Yeah.
Because nobody likes a fucking a dirty, grimy guy.
Yeah. You can't be like a slob that's 80 pounds overweight. That won't work. No.
But as long as you're like you present yourself properly,
yes,
that's as much as you have to worry about looks. And that's it.
That's one thing that when I was younger, this is like a hack. I noticed that because when you're like 17, 18 years old, you're just learning about women and stuff like that. Yeah, about life. And one thing that I picked up was, so whenever I would go, let's say hit on a girl or give her attention, I used to be shy about it, and I'd be shy about it because I'd be afraid of the rejection. Yeah. But then I had a little switch that went off, and obviously a lot of girls, I've been rejected many times, as I'm sure you have, as I'm sure every other guy has, right? But what I changed my mindset. My mindset was, well, even if I give them a compliment and they still kind of like reject me, they're still flattered. And I remember speaking to girls about this. I'm like, so you get flattered if like a guy comes up and does it respectfully? Respectfully. If you're gonna be an asshole about it, then no. But like, if you actually genuinely go up, hey, I thought you were really pretty. Yeah. You respectfully are approaching her, and she goes, no, I'm good. Yeah. They're still flattered.
Of course.
And that switch in my head changed my mindset. And then it was like off to the races. Oh yeah. And then for like, because I didn't care anymore, because I'm like, it's a win-win. Even if they reject me, they're still flattered.
Yeah, of course. If you can add a bit of value to someone's life.
Yeah.
Like nobody's going to get mad at you for being like nice, kind, and to give a bit of value.
I thought you were really pretty. I want to come talk to you. What's your name?
Where's the happiness?
Sorry, I have a boyfriend. Okay, cool. Like, no problem.
That's right. Getting over that fear of rejection initially is so important in life. Period. Not just for women and for like romance and for, whatever, your love life. It's for everything. When I was 14 and 15, I had a good friend of mine. His name was Jason. And so the Cooper days again, right? Yeah. So after school, we would take the bus and we'd go to Fairview. For those who don't know, it's a mall in the West Island.
Fairview.
And fucking Fairview. And after school, we would go and give each other challenges, like social challenges. Yeah. The goal was to like approach girls or like pick up girls, but with the stupidest fucking thing. Like you'd have to open them up and be like, yeah, I'm a fucking raging faggot, but hey, and keep in mind, that was like, I was 14, 15. So I was like 2006, 2007. Back then you could say raging faggot. So, yeah. I mean, today it's not good, but back then you could. So we would give each other challenges, and we would like record it with a little shitty like fucking flip phones and stuff. The quality was horrible, but it was all about
the Razor.
The Razor, there you go.
The Motorola Razor.
Oh man, that was like the OG. So yeah, we would give each other challenges, but it was so helpful for getting over the fear of anything. I mean, I would approach. Sometimes it'd be like, okay, you have to approach girls, but we'd only choose girls that were with like their parents. I don't know about you.
God, that's ballsy.
That's ballsy.
You would walk up to girls that were there with their parents.
100%.
Wow.
I've picked girls up in front of their moms.
Like little 14-year-old Elliot.
Oh yeah, and the worst part, this is how I met my first ever girlfriend, like my first real serious relationship. It was a girl named Olivia. She went to QAA, also known as Quick and Available. And
Olivia, what was her last name?
I don't know if we should say that.
Yeah, don't say her last name. But Olivia, because the reason I asked that, I went to Loyola, so I probably know her.
You probably knew the Villa girls.
I knew like a lot. I dated a girl from QA as well. Once I turned 19, but I know like I know quite a few of them that from QA.
I'll tell you the name after.
Okay, cool,
right?
fair enough.
So at QA, like, man, rest in peace. That school was the best thing ever.
Yeah, it was a good school.
It was the best thing for men in the city.
Yeah,
oh my god! Imagine it's like it's an all girls school, right? It's just
Yeah.
so people who don't know again.
They had pretty girls.
Oh man, they were so hot.
They're
And on
very
top of that,
pretty girls.
you know,
Yeah.
again, they're not socialized with men, right? So. Like I don't want to say they all had daddy issues, but like they were behaving like they all had daddy issues. You know? What I mean?
But a lot they were good girls. Like to be like for the girls in my crew. I graduated 2006. Like all the girls from that, I still see them around today. Like they have kids. They were
of course
they were genuinely like I enjoy seeing them today. I'd be like, hey Curtis, how are you? Like it's cool, you know. Like I've known these girls for. I'm not going to call them and hang out with them, but you've known them for 20 years. You know what I mean? And you walk up to them, you see them out, like you see them at Lou's, you see them at this restaurant or something. It's nice to see them. You know?
It's nice to keep up with people.
Yeah.
And see where they're at nowadays.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
But that's how I met my first girlfriend. 14 years old, I approached her and her friend. Her friend was Kristen. And we were in a food court. Okay. And I don't remember what the challenge was, but I had to say the stupidest shit ever. Okay. And then I got their number. And then we started seeing each other. And that's it. It was like my first girlfriend for real. You know?
Nice.
So. And it makes me think, you know, kids nowadays, for real, how does it work? Because nowadays, I don't think people approach each other or speak in person. It's all dating apps, right?
I that's a great question, man. Because like for us back in our day, if you had a crush on a girl, you had to pick up the phone and call them.
Or add it on MSN.
I don't know. Yeah, MSN was a good one. But for me, like in grade, so in Sec 1, I would have been that's 2001. This was before... Well, definitely before smartphones.
Yeah.
And no one in Sec 1 had a cell phone when I was in high school, first year high school. So if I wanted to call a girl, I had to get her number at her house, call the house. The parents are most likely going to pick up. And I had to go through the gatekeeper. I had to get through the gatekeeper. So you had to be polite with the parents first. And then you had to ask like, hi, can I speak to Vanessa, please? And like, yeah, 1 second. Who is this? Curtis. And they're like... and you would always hope, isn't it true? You would always hope that the mom picked up.
Oh, of course.
You always hope that the mom picked up. Like whenever the dad picked up, you're like, oh fuck.
I
Like,
know.
Yeah. That was the
But see, later on in life, though, I like the dads better than the moms. Okay, the moms.
But later on, once they try, I mean, they mean mug you at the beginning, as they should. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're like, I was a greasy little shit too at one point. I get it. Like if I had a daughter, I would act the exact same way.
Fuck. It's a good thing I don't have a daughter.
Yeah,
man.
like for sure. If you're gonna call and it's you want to speak to my daughter, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
You got to earn my respect first. I don't trust you. You're a skeezy, you're a slimy little 6-year-old horny boy.
I know what you want.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I'd rather the fathers because look, one thing I've realized throughout my life, my career with this, I guess, every father falls within a category. All right. So there's the fathers there's like a center of interest. They like cigars or scotches, wines, whiskeys, cars, sports like golf or football, right?
Yeah.
Business, finance, politics. As long as you're well versed in any of those subjects, he's gonna like you.
Man subjects.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you need to know the basics of any of those.
Yeah, it's true.
And they will like you. At first, we'll give you obviously like he's gonna be a tough ass at first.
It's normal. That's normal.
And that's
It's
what
normal.
you want.
Yeah, it's normal.
But you can disarm him by showing a little bit of interest and knowledge in all those subjects. Then he's gonna open up.
Yeah.
And probably too, especially if like he's a father of only girls, he's gonna be so deprived of
Yeah.
some good freaking male banter.
True,
You know what
you're
I mean?
right. You're probably
some
right,
good
yeah.
boys time. He's
Like-
gonna open up right up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's happened. I was just like, fuck, I gotta meet the father. And then after like an hour, it's like, hey, have a drink with me.
Yeah.
You know? Like sure, let's have a
No,
drink,
you're right.
buddy. You know?
You're right.
So that's the
You're right.
trick. Whereas the mothers may be very sweet at first. They'll be sweet and open and whatnot. But here's the thing: they're still women.
Yeah.
So they're gonna like they
But
can smell the fucker off of you. You know?
Yeah, and they don't. Well, you don't relate as well. Look, I'm gonna be honest. Like, no, I don't relate as well to a woman. Like, generally speaking, you have.
Yeah.
I would much rather have like I don't hang out with girls outside of my girlfriend. I don't really want to, and it's nothing against women. Just we don't have the same interests as women, typically speaking.
Point.
I would much rather go hang out with the guys.
And that's such a good point, by the way. There's nothing better than hanging out with some of your boys
and laughing.
You know,
that's like the peak, as you know, as Andrew Tate says some crazy
that,
shit, but he says a lot of stuff that's correct. And he's like, I don't think, Andrew Tate says this, I don't think there's anything better. It's like, this is like peak life enjoyment. Hanging out with the boys, shooting the shit, laughing your ass off. It's hilarious. It's so funny.
It is.
And this is why, like, I honestly, like, whenever I don't even like hockey that much. I like the locker room banter more than the sport itself.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the best.
Just getting a bunch of boys together, you're on the same page, and you have a couple of drinks, and you just shoot the shit, man. You can laugh about, you could be having the worst day in your life.
You make fun of each other.
Your girlfriend dumped you. You're in court. You're, you're losing your business. It doesn't matter. You're with your boys.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Do you agree, Shamar? Yeah, there.
All right, where should we go?
We need to get you, by the way, a mic. Just so you can, like, once in a while hop in.
You should actually, like, why don't we do that? Why don't we get you a mic? No, because, like, whenever Jamie, like, whenever he goes to you, Jamie has, like, a mic. We should get you a mic.
I definitely agree with that.
We're doing that on the next pod.
We're going
to get you a mic. And you could be like, you'll never have to be on camera. You'll be Jamie.
You'll be Shamar. Come on.
Yeah.
It's better. But yeah, so you were talking about something interesting about... we were going back to the, what's it called? There we go. The mimosa's finally hitting. It's good. The language, like the Quebecois, what do they not? Because I got diverted way back, right?
Yeah.
We were talking about, like, why do you think that these people don't speak another language?
Yeah.
So to be quite frank with you, I think if they don't speak another language for two reasons. One, they've never left their hometown. It sounds fucked up, but a lot of people will die 5 kilometers away from where they were born. And by the way, that is my biggest fear in life. When people ask me, like, what's your biggest fear? It's dying 5 kilometers away from when I was born. There's no way I want to do that. So one, they've never left their hometown. Number two, yeah, I'm sure the education system is to blame for sure, right? But it's also maybe the government does play a role in this. And I mentioned this on a prior podcast, but my realization when I went to the US and had to go through the healthcare system over there, it was considerably better and cheaper than a healthcare system in Canada. But yet, all these years, I was under the impression that I would go bankrupt if I had to go to the hospital in the US. That's fed by the media and by the government here. So it's probably the same. We're being told all the time Canada's the best country to be in. Quebec is a great place to be. Why would people want to leave? They think, like, hey, I'm living... I liken it a little bit. It's maybe like an extreme comparison, but I liken it to the people in North Korea. You speak to the average North Korean, I'm convinced they
probably think it's amazing.
It's the best place in the world, right? They don't have the perception or the ability to notice or to realize that they're living in a fucking, like, horrible place, So I think that's probably why people here don't want to learn English or don't even care to learn English. They're just like, they're okay in their
I think it's
bubble.
basically like, and I'd like to stay on this topic for a little bit. And it's just like, I always, I start off by saying this, and it's like true. I as an Anglophone, I am very sympathetic, and I understand why Quebec puts in the language laws that they put in. And the reality is, if they didn't protect their language and their culture, French would have already been lost, because Montreal was the Toronto of Canada back like 50 years ago.
Oh, before the 80s, yeah.
Yeah, like they were before like René Lévesque came in and the separatist movement, like Montreal was Toronto. All the banks were in Montreal. It's like it was
the largest city in Canada.
And so right in from the port, so all the shipping, the exports and imports were all going through Montreal. Yes.
It was considered a international metropolitan city.
Yes. And they basically came in and they changed that. And I remember asking, so I was dating a Francophone, and I was speaking to the mom about it. And she said, and this is, they had money, and she goes, I would much rather keep my culture than be regarded as an international city. And she said that. And
really?
Yeah, because it's like if you speak to someone who's more blue collar, they would probably say that, because it doesn't make any difference to them. But for like someone who has money, I could maybe see like maybe they wouldn't say that, because they'd end up making more money after. But they were like really, really Francophone. The father was a péquiste back in the day, when it was like when the movement first started. But it's like I understand where they're coming from. I really do. But now I feel like it's gotten to the point, and there's other francophone owners that complain about the same thing. So there's this guy at Pizza. He's pretty big on social media. I forget his name. Pizza. He's opening up a bunch.
Salvatore,
yeah. So he's francophone.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Like,
he doesn't speak English for shit.
And so they had an English Twitter account for their locations in Ontario. The office Quebec de la langue française called them up and said, you can't have that. You're a Quebec-based business. You have to have all your ads in French. Sure. Stuff like that is absolutely, utterly ridiculous. And then that is going to be to the detriment of the Quebec economy.
100%.
And so like this is where I find like it's okay to have protectionism of the language and the culture. I get it. And I agree. If you guys didn't have this, French would be far less than what it is today. Yeah. I agree with that. I actually do. But it's gone too far where you have like government just coming in to basically, why are they meddling in businesses this much?
Yeah. If you force anyone to do anything, they tend to push back, right? Nobody likes to be told what to do. So I understand the protection of the culture, but Quebec is already protected, right? I don't necessarily think pushing more restriction is the right way. Look, I'll take me as an example. All right, brought up in French. In France, French. So brought up. I'm losing it, buddy. I'm not a day drinker, but
you'll get through the first thing, and then it'll start. The ideas will start to flow real soon. You'll be good.
Oh yeah. But no, so brought up in French. Obviously, it's my mother tongue.
Yeah.
And yet today, with the incessant being told that I need to speak French all the time, everything needs to be in French. I want to rebel against it. Sorry. Yeah. So with BizBiz, we've had the OQLF, the Office Québécois de la langue française, knock on our door because our sign on the office. So we had a bit like you had like big KBD sign outside. We had the same thing, BizBiz Share. That was a product, right? Our platform was called BizBiz Share. So the OQLF came up and said, yeah, that's English. I said, yeah, you're right, but it's also a trademark. They're like, perfect. It's a trademark. You can keep it, but then you need to add a descriptive. So we would have had to add either les entreprises BizBiz Share or BizBiz Share technologie. We had to add a French descriptive to our sign on a building because, well, that's law 101 here. And it's just like, fuck that. Companies here have enough to worry about as it is. We don't need to have to deal with all the Quebec bullshit. I'm in the process right now. I've been wanting to import a few concepts to Quebec. Okay, Chick-fil-A being one of them, best freaking chicken in the world. Crumble cookies from the US, amazing as well. And there's this coffee chain in the Nordic countries called Espresso House. These are 3 concepts I want to bring here.
What about Chipotle?
Chipotle is okay,
but they don't franchise. Let's forget it. That's yeah.
It's okay. I'm not a huge fan of it. I like it, but I'm not a huge fan. But Chick-fil-A, I go crazy for that shit. Crumble cookies, I had like fucking 6 2 days ago.
And they have the franchise model?
They do. Okay. And they've opened one in Toronto very recently. You know?
Interesting.
And then Espresso House from the Nordics. All amazing concepts I think would work wonders in Quebec. It's a hard sell because out of Canada, they rather go to Toronto. They rather go to Edmonton. They rather go to freaking Vancouver. Even though Montreal is the 2nd largest city in the country, and Quebec is a huge population center.
Yep.
Between, we're part of the Windsor corridor, right? So we have Quebec City, Trois-Rivières, Sherbrooke, and Montreal. Huge population center. And yet nobody wants to come because our laws and our taxes are way too stringent, way too complicated. So again, economically, we're being fucked because of that.
If you want to go through I'm going to take you through the regulatory bodies that I have to deal with just in my business. We have, we'll include like Revenue Quebec. So we have so Revenue Quebec, federal taxes, Autorité des marchés financiers, CNESST. I deal in Ontario, so I have to deal with the REBO, the Registered Insurance Brokers of Ontario. I have to deal with Ontario Revenue Agency. I have to deal with the GAA, Groupement des Assureurs, Automobile Assureurs, something like that. So that's 7 already. I'm at 7. I have to deal with 7 regulatory bodies.
That's wild.
I employ 30 people.
That's fucking wild.
It's insane.
That is insane.
And I have to pay each of them. Think about that. I have to pay each of them. Each of them get money from me. 7. I only employ
It's a cartel, people. Man.
Yeah.
It's a cartel.
It's like, this is something that people need to realize that's like eventually it becomes, it's a money grab.
Oh, yeah.
And people need to understand that. It's just like, everyone wants their money. And it's like the same thing as, I've been applauding this. So Royal Mount, have you been to Royal Mount?
I haven't.
I've been there, and you look at all the comments. Everyone's complaining. Everyone's saying this. Everyone's saying that. I tip my hat off to these guys at Royalmount, and I have a lot of respect for them. I mean, think about how difficult it was for them to get the permits to get this done.
Oh, that must have been insane.
Like, imagine.
Yeah.
It's probably the hoops and valleys and the cost. And then just to build the overpass from so it's like, I don't know specifically where
Right
it
over
is.
to Carey, right?
Right over to Carey.
Yeah.
Do you know how much that costs?
No idea.
Just guess. And I have a buddy that works.
So you have the number.
I have the number. Do you know how much that fucking cost?
Just an overpass.
This is
it's a pedestrian
it's like
overpass.
500 feet, not even.
And it's pedestrian only, right?
Pedestrian only.
$3 million.
$30 million. $30 million. 500 feet, $30 million. But this is what Montreal has become. And so it's basically, well, it's $30 million. Guys, you got to understand, everyone is getting paid.
Yeah.
Like the contractor, how much money does the contractor receive that? Not much.
Yeah.
That's the permits. That's the city. That's like everyone wants a piece of the pie.
But that's Canada in general, right?
That is Canada in general. And this is like the issue. This is why we're always banging the drums and saying like, yo, guys, wake the fuck up, man. We got to get this stuff like this. There's so much red tape in this country, and people think it's like, well, we need to regulate businesses. I'm not saying we don't need to have regulation for businesses, but we have to, like, nothing can get done. And if nothing gets done, there's no productivity to tax.
But then it's the same thing with our housing crisis, right?
Yes.
When it's over 30% of the housing costs.
Our development charges and fees,
taxes.
it's insane.
Overall, it
it's
goes
insane.
to someone's
Dude,
pocket.
there's places in Toronto now. It's at the point now, it's $200,000 per housing unit. $200,000 in development charges and taxes. $200,000.
That's wild, man.
It's insane. And like, no wonder. So it's basically like, and by the way, it wasn't like this 30 years ago.
No,
so
it
everyone
wasn't.
getting into the housing market. So if you're buying like an $800,000 property, you're like, wow, $200,000 of this. I have to go get a loan from the bank, pay interest on that to pay this $200,000.
And we keep blaming everything but the actual source of our issues.
Yes.
It's government and like, look.
People are finally starting, my last point, but
Yeah.
like people are finally starting to understand these development charges, like issues. And even, I went on CJD and I was talking about the same thing. And
I saw that, by the way. That was nice.
Oh, thank you.
Fuck you. You're pretty good on radio.
Thank you. I appreciate that. She didn't know that. She's like, well, why is the cost of housing? So I said this, supply issue, demand, or rates. And I'm like, well, the last one that no one talks about, a third of it is development charges. She said, what? She didn't understand that. People need to start understanding that the government, municipal governments in particular, charge a lot of money. And it wasn't always like this. And so basically for development charges to go up 10x, infrastructure costs have not gone up 10x. No. You know what I mean? They're like, well, we have to pay for the sewers. You're right. We have to connect the sewers. You have the toilets and all that stuff. Yeah. Well, that hasn't gone up 10x over the past 15 years.
But see, okay, so that ties into pretty much everything in Canada. Again, people are complaining about the cost of energy, gasoline, right? You go to the pump, you need to fill up your car. It's so fucking expensive nowadays. Again, same thing. What is the greatest cost on gasoline? So let's do this. You have the federal excise tax on gasoline, a provincial excise tax on gasoline. You have the carbon tax on gasoline, GST, that's the federal sales tax, and QST, that's the Quebec sales tax.
There's also, I think if you're on the island of Montreal, there's an additional island of Montreal tax.
100% you're correct about that. That's true. That's 100% true. So the biggest cost on a liter of gasoline is tax. Yeah. And people are blaming the government, especially, the refineries, and even worse, when they blame the freaking merchant, the fucking little gas station on the corner of the street, making 1 or 2 cent profit per liter.
That's crazy.
These guys are price gouging you.
Yeah.
It's like the grocery stores right now. Inflation, it's because of corporate greed. Look, there is a little bit of corporate greed. Don't get me wrong.
There definitely is.
But fucking Christ, guys, that's not the main reason why your grocery now is like $200 a week. That's not why. Yeah.
No, it's gone too far. The U.S. seems to have waken up. Did you see this? I want to talk about this.
Yeah.
So the bill that they tried to pass, it was 1,500 pages.
Yep.
And they posted it so Doge, in particular Vivek and Elon. More so Vivek. He was more kind of spearheading this, and he was the guy that went on X. So they dropped it from 1,500 pages to, I think, 100 pages. And inside of what the hell were they trying to pass again?
It was a continuing resolution. So it's
for the debt.
It's
right?
a budget bill.
Basically. Yeah, so it's a budget bill. Yeah. And in there, so basically what they do is they wait till the last minute and then they shove a bunch of stuff in there. And inside of the bill, they want to pass where the politicians would increase their salary and they would get increased healthcare benefits. That's what they tried to slide in the bill.
And then they try to slide money for Ukraine.
Yeah.
They try to slide like things for the January 6th, rioters or whatever.
A budget bill.
It's a budget bill, but that's what they do.
Bill. I know.
But it's called an omnibus bill, right? So that's what they
Yes.
do. They take a law. Let's say it's a law about freaking, I don't know. You're not allowed to cross the sidewalk after 6 p.m. Some stupid fucking shit, right? And you think the law is just about that, and then they're gonna come and ram, like you said, increase in salaries and pension, money for the military, freaking, they even had stuff I think for like healthcare in there. It's ridiculous. People don't keep track, and the worst part is this: I have some friends who worked on at Capitol Hill in Washington, right? That work in the office of some congressman, and they've told me flat out, they're like, the vast majority of congressmen don't read the bill. They're too big, they're too long. It's impossible because the bill is submitted to the floor by the Speaker of the House at, let's say, 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and the vote on the bill is scheduled for 5 p.m. in the evening. There's no way you're reading 1,500 pages in 4 hours. It's impossible.
No. It will be interesting to see what with AI pretty soon. Basically, because if you got obviously, well, I would assume they can put that into a PDF.
Yeah.
Just get the AI to
summary, right?
Yeah,
Like
we will get to that point.
execs.
Hey, they'll train it. Let me know if there's any of this in it, and it'll take 5 minutes to go through it. Not even.
But Elon came up with an interesting point, and I'm all for it. He said, from now on, Doge is going to recommend the following: every bill submitted by the House or the Senate in the U.S. by Congress has to be read in its entirety on the floor, and then live streamed at the same time. I'm all for that, because politicians are voting, and they have for decades, on bills that they don't even know the content of. These are the people that's their job, by the way.
know.
Imagine your employees, right, went through their workday not knowing what 90% of their fucking work was. That's what our politicians, our elected officials, are doing. And it's affecting your life, my life, and all of our lives. And it's the same in Canada, by the way.
Yeah.
And side note, by the way, for Canada, right? I know last time we spoke, you weren't so sold on the whole the whole pension thing with Jagmeet, right?
Yeah.
Interesting that the moment Parliament was off to recess for the holidays, and the only time it's coming back into session, it's right after the moment he qualifies for his pension.
Yeah.
And now
He qualifies for his pension February 25th or 24th.
something like that. And it's coming back on the 27th.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Or the 29th, one of the two.
Yeah.
And the second Parliament went onto recess, what did he say? Yeah, we're going to vote to bring down the government from now on.
And again, we'll see if that actually happens. But this is also something, and I want to get into just media a little bit.
Yeah.
How come Pierre Poilievre is the only guy saying this? And is it all? Is the only reason that Jagmeet Singh is basically prolonging this vote of non-confidence? Is it only because of his pension? Probably not. I'm sure there's other reasons. Like maybe the NDP is not ready for an election because they would already be into an election cycle.
That's a part for sure.
You know what I mean? Like you might be like, we are not prepared at all for this. So it could be that. And a guy that's already rich, he's making $54,000 a year off his pension. I mean, it's not life-changing money. So but we don't know. I can't do that. But the fact that CBC, and if someone has seen CBC articles where they actually mention this, I'd love to see it. Articles or video content. Why are they not bringing this up? And again, it just comes back to the media, legacy media. They keep shooting themselves in the foot. They have lost all credibility, and it brings me to my next point. Pierre Poilievre wants to defund the CBC. Defunding the CBC, everyone thinks oh, you're going to bankrupt CBC. No, all he's saying is we don't want the government to be giving money to CBC anymore. Yeah. You guys should be able to function as a business on your own. That's I think CBC right now it's 60% government. It's something ridiculous, way more than if you look at NPR in America, I think it's 2 or 3% government funded. It's not a lot.
Yeah,
CBC is way more. His point is no. You guys, if you're a viable business, you have all these fancy vice presidents and presidents making tons of money. You have big expense accounts. He's I'm not saying you're not. He's not going. No, we want you guys to go bankrupt. He's saying you guys should be able to fend by yourself.
Yeah,
that's all he's trying to say. And it's just
sense.
And the last point I'll just say before this is I have a friend. That's all I'll say. He's a colleague who worked at, I'm not sure if I mentioned this to you before, he worked at Radio Canada, and he worked on the finance. He worked on the finance side. Okay, he was high up on the finance department, and he specifically said when Justin Trudeau came into power, the funding from the federal government to CBC shot up immediately.
Yeah,
and that's not, you know, they'll disguise it as, oh, it's to have better news coverage. No, it's a bribe. It's a bribe for, 100%. And like this is how things actually work. So,
well, it's like Canada Post losing $500 million a year.
774.
Even worse.
Yeah.
Even freaking worse.
Yeah.
That's like, there's no enterprise. Okay, so one thing I've realized with BizBiz is going to sound really fucked up, but you know, BizBiz, we're making money obviously with our commercial product. Our biggest year, we made the most money, not because of actual productive business endeavors.
Subsidies. Yeah.
To give you an idea of how much money we're getting from the government, this is when we realize like the business of getting money from the government is more lucrative than running after. We started that year, we invested more time trying to get subsidies than we did developing our products because it was easier and it was just more lucrative. We were getting, so first of all, being a technology company, you're eligible for what's called SHRED, so scientific research and experimental development credits. That covers something like up to 70% of your R&D. And a lot of things that we did could be brought into the category of R&D. On top of that, we had a lot of foreign workers. Their salary was subsidized up to 55% by the government. Then on top of that, that was during the COVID era, and so you had the emergency wage subsidy that covered up to like 80% of your salary, of your wages. Then there was another thing called, what was it called? It was another program. You have to apply directly, and it's for the development of one specific kind of scientific project, but they will cover up to, I think, 50%. All in all, at one point we did the math, and for every employee I had, I was receiving 125% of their salary. I
mean, like, look, it's if you can do it, why not do it? But this is just a constant theme with the Liberal government under Justin Trudeau. It's like the state is too involved in everything.
Yeah.
Let the private sector do its own thing. They don't know what they're doing. You have to stop subsidizing
I have to
the private sector.
Completely.
And, you know, Elon Musk has said the same thing. Like, he directly benefits from getting these electric vehicle subsidies.
Yeah.
And even if, well, not in California anymore. Isn't that hilarious in California? So they claim to be like the number one cars, the number one electric cars sold in California by far is Tesla. It's not even close, like by far. And so they go like, no, this isn't political at all. But like all the electrical vehicle manufacturers in California are going to get subsidies, except Tesla. It's not political. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you can't make this shit up. It's actually hilarious.
It is hilarious.
It gets hilarious.
And today I saw this video. It was, oh man, what's his name? He's in Congress. He's in the Senate actually. Man, he's on the Democratic side. Forget it. It's not Schumer. Chuck Schumer? Is it Schumer? No, it's the other guy. Fuck, what's his name? I don't know. Some dude, right? And you have him back in 2016 saying, not in 2016, sorry, in 2020. When Biden came into office saying, you know what, I really think Biden should investigate the former president. And if he needs to indict him, indict him. Then in 2022, you know, I think we should investigate even further.
Adam Schiff.
There you go.
It's Adam Schiff.
It's Schiff.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, you're right. So Adam Schiff, that guy.
Yeah.
So he's on camera.
Snake in the grass.
Fuck.
He's he looks like a weasel.
He looks like
he looks like a fucking weasel.
Some people, they just look like little fucking.
They're like, I don't trust this guy. Yeah. This guy's gonna fuck me. Yeah.
So he's on camera twice saying that, you know what, the president has the authority and should absolutely investigate the former administration for all the crimes they've done.
Yeah.
And now he's on camera recently being like, I don't think it's okay for President Trump or incoming, you know, President-elect Trump to investigate the former government or the past government. He shouldn't do it. It's an abuse of power.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck, buddy?
It's crazy.
I know.
It's crazy.
But this whole double-sided thing, so... You know, we spoke a little bit about it before. Okay, so right now, it started off with a meme, I think. It started off as a joke. Yeah. And I think it's slowly being brought into... The Overton window is being pushed more and more towards maybe it materializing itself.
Yeah.
Canada being integrated into the U.S.
Yeah, let's get into this.
Let's talk about that.
So Canada becoming the 51st state.
51st state. Well, first of all, before we even talk about Canada becoming the 51st state,
How did this all come about?
we have to, that. And
Yeah.
also, is Canada just going to stay one state, or should we break it down? Because I think, strategically the U.S. should not integrate Canada as a whole, right? First of all, you can't govern the second largest country in the world into just one state. People from Nova Scotia don't need and don't want the same thing as people from Alberta or Quebec, God forbid,
No, you're right.
from even Ontario or New Brunswick, right?
Yeah.
So we need to break it down into separate entities, separate states. But then it brings the question, Canada being a heck of a lot more far left than the U.S. ever could be.
Yep.
If we did that, or if the U.S. did that, they would be shooting themselves in the foot.
The Republicans.
The Republicans would. So the incoming administration would, right? Because they're running all three levels of government, but they have the House, they have the Senate, and they have the White House.
Mm-hmm.
So how would they break it down? So that's something actually that was a topic of conversation over the holidays with my family. How should we break down Canada in the event it was to be made into an entity of the U.S., whether it be through statehood or whether it be through even, and Kevin O'Leary brought this up today, or 2 days ago. He said, he thinks it's a great idea, and so do I, by the way.
Yeah.
But he's like, it doesn't have to be necessarily statehood. It doesn't have to be like integrate into the U.S. as a country. It could be some form of like an EU-like association.
Yeah.
So a common currency, a common
help with us a lot.
Fuck, it would help us so much, and this is hearsay, but I read, and again, complete hearsay, but a proposal that would indeed convert 1-to-1 Canadian dollars to US dollars. And God, that for all Canadians, that would be a godsend. That would save our ass so much, and we would all be richer for it right away. And so there's how did it come about? The way it could be implemented, so whether it be through an association a la EU or whether it be through full integration as a state or states within the United States of America, and whether it's a good thing or not. So if you want to resume a little bit how it came about.
So from what I heard on X, they were there the first. So Justin Trudeau went down to Mar-a-Lago, flew down after Trump made one of his tweets or one of his truths, I think they're called, and basically said, but people need to understand this first. It's like he's trolling. He has no respect for Chrystia Freeland. He has no respect for Justin Trudeau. Yeah. Like he's trolling. So that's the first part that we like. He speaks in hyperboles. People need to understand this, and it's like it's being covered by the media because it makes for good news. It's entertaining. Like, oh, he's saying he's going to come and invade. He's trolling us. Okay, that's number one. Everyone needs to kind of understand this. So Justin Trudeau right off the bat says, Trump says, well, we're basically subsidizing you to the tune of $100 billion a year. And he goes, well, you can't do this. There's tariffs. He goes, well, if we're going to keep subsidizing you $100 billion every year, like, why don't you, like, we can do that. Just, you're going to have to become the 51st state of America. And so that's kind of how it all started. Yeah. But like you said, I don't think the Republicans, number one, it's just like, he's trolling. If this was to actually happen and we were to actually draw the map, that could be actually something really interesting. And most Canadians, I think just because of the way that they think the U.S. is like the wild, wild west. They think they're a bunch of hooligans. They think I don't know, like Canadians think Americans are, I feel like Canadians almost look down on Americans.
100%.
Yeah, it's like, I find it very odd. It's like I have a lot of friends.
Our identity is always that.
Yeah,
we're not America.
Yeah, it's like oh, they're the buffoons. We are Canadian. We're more sophisticated. We're smarter. We have, I don't know. It's like I have a lot of friends that look down on America. And I'll say this about America: we owe it to America, whether you like it or not. You don't have to agree with their politics. Our standard of living is in big part thanks to America. Yeah. People never realize that. Like, we have the biggest and strongest army the world has ever seen right next door to us. And this is where Canadians don't appreciate being next to America as much as I think they should. Yeah. They do a lot for us. They're our biggest trading partner.
They do.
We are going to, with Trump coming up, we are going to indirectly benefit we're going to piggyback off the U.S. productivity for the economy. Like, there's so many benefits to being next to the United States, economically speaking, defense-wise. And I don't know, anytime I speak to like a Canadian that's upset with America, I just go like, what are you talking about? Would you rather be living next to China? Would you rather be bordering with like Libya? Would you rather, like, what would you rather be doing?
But I think it has a lot to do with the fact, again, that people here are not being fed the right information. So I've spoken to a few people about, again, becoming a state in the U.S. or states in the U.S., and a lot of them are against it. And I asked them why.
Same here.
Why? What do you stand to lose from being, let's say, integrated? And we're not even going to talk about a loose association, again, EU style. We're going to talk just purely being integrated into the union. What do you stand to lose? And a lot of them, our culture, our way of life. And I was like, well, first of all, your way of life.
What culture? What does Canada stand for today? We're losing our culture right now.
I've lived in the U.S. Our culture is not that different. Our way of life is not that different. We just have a worse economy, more laws, more taxes, more regulation, less freedom. So, okay, tomorrow you become part of the U.S. Here's what you stand to win, right? All of a sudden you have a drop in taxes. A considerable drop in taxes. That's more money in your pockets. Number two, if you're an employee, you have access to the largest economy, more job opportunities, more employers. And if you're a business owner, you have access to the biggest market the world has ever seen. All Canadians tend to benefit from a common currency, a stronger currency. That's for the traveling and whatnot. And by the way, for Canadians that say, yeah, but the Canadian passport, we're on par with the U.S. In terms of traveling visa-free, we're on par with the U.S. And by the way, we're not anywhere close to the top one. I think the top one right now is like freaking Spain, right? Canada's not even in the top like 5 passports. It used to be, not anymore.
No, not
right?
anymore.
So we're on par in terms of visa-free travel with the U.S. So we gain, again, economically tremendously from all strata of society, from the employee, the lowest employee, to the biggest business owner. Everyone keeps more money in their pockets. Now you're going to be like, yeah, but what about healthcare? We spoke about that previously, but there's a way to integrate healthcare. Like provinces or new states would be able to perhaps keep offering their level of healthcare, but that's such a minute percentage. We have more security. We have now the largest country in the world, right? The strongest military in the world. Now, what does the U.S. stand to benefit, right? Because people are saying, well, what the fuck's the point of Canada? Energy.
And natural resources.
Canada is one of the largest country when it comes to all resources combined. Canada is like number one, or
Did
like
you know
within
that
the top 5.
Saskatchewan is the second? Is it first? Anyways, top 3 biggest uranium reserves in the world.
Yeah, I knew
as well.
That. Canada is huge on uranium.
Yes.
So all resources combined, Canada is one of the top countries ever, and we refuse to extract it, refuse to use it because we're holier than thou. We don't need it, and like it's bad for the environment, whatever. The U.S. now has strategic access to all of that, which, by the way, helps Canadian because now we're part of a country that's actually extracting that value, right? And then on top of that, we get to protect the sovereignty of the North, which right now Canada can do against foreign enemies like perhaps Russia and China, which would love to.
Just like a quick history lesson, by the way. So when the U.S. Took Alaska, they were under the impression that when they took Alaska, that they were going to get that whole entire West Coast. So they thought that they were going to get Yukon and British Columbia all the way down. And then John A. Macdonald built a railway, and that kind of blocked that. But that was the intention from the beginning. So they bought it all the way up there, and they wanted that whole landmass on the West Coast.
Yeah, and it would have made sense because they would have connected to the U.S., right?
Exactly.
To the West.
But I mean, like, I just thought about that too. Like Alaska it borders, it's right next to Russia.
Yeah.
Alaska, fucked. That's far.
It is. I've been.
You've been?
I've been to Alaska.
What's Alaska like?
You
went in the summer or winter?
No, wintertime. So
how cold? Like, it was just dark and cold.
Dark and cold. I mean, a little bit like Canada. The reality is, it's a little bit like first time I saw auroras was in Alaska. But speaking of historically, or historical kind of lore around it. Because I've also spoken to Americans saying, it'll never happen in Canada. There's no reasoning behind it. Well, 2 things they like to bring up. First, Texas. People love Texas. The U.S. loves Texas. Texas was a sovereign nation before it joined the Union. It was the Republic of Texas. It used to belong to Mexico, fought a war, became independent. The Republic of Texas stayed a republic for about 15 years and then eventually petitioned to join the Union. So there is precedent for a country, a sovereign nation, joining the Union. But furthermore, a lot of people don't know this little piece of history. So right now, the U.S. Constitution is not the first and only constitution that ever was for the U.S. Before the U.S. Constitution, that is still in force today, from 1783, I believe, there was a prior constitution, the first one. It was called the Articles of Confederation. That is the framework of government that was passed when the U.S. declared independence and launched the Revolutionary War against Britain. And in there, I believe it's Article like 13 or 14, there is a provision in their constitution stating that the province of Canada, which at the time was mostly Quebec and a small portion of, like, call it Upper Canada, so like Ontario and whatnot, can be elevated to a state in the Union at any time it wants. It's preordained, pre-written. Any other state or any other region or territory in the future must gain 9/13 votes from the states in order to join. But the province of Canada, or the colony of Canada, was automatically granted statehood if it chose to. So Canada had the opportunity to join the US. We never did. But there is a historical precedent behind that for Canada joining the US. Maybe it's just like 250 years too late. But I mean, it's there. It's there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know. I feel like we're the closest in culture to the United States versus anyone else in the world.
Yeah. We have the longest undefended, unmilitarized border in the world as well.
Yeah.
Right. I see no drawbacks. The only drawback I would see would come from Quebec, to be quite honest, saying we have our culture, our language, and everything, and it would be a shame to lose it. But to that I say, look at your brothers from Louisiana, right? They've managed to keep their Cajun French and their Cajun heritage for centuries without the protection of Law 101 and all that bullshit government interference, and it still exists today. People are just proud of it. They want to keep it going. And I think that's the best way to protect a language or a culture, is people just being proud of it, not having government interference and forcing it down people's throats.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm just going to read real quick.
Okay,
so part of the Article of Confederation, again, that was the first U.S. Constitution. Article 11 states the following: Canada, acceding to this confederation and joining in the measures of the United States, shall be admitted into and entitled to all the advantages of this union, but no other colony shall be admitted into the same unless such admission be agreed by 9 states. So we had a ticket to fucking paradise, a ticket to heaven ordained in this, and we just never took it. But let's say it was to happen. Canada was to be negotiated into the U.S. How would you carve up Canada? Should we keep it at just one? Should we separate it by region, provinces?
If I'm like, I don't think we're gonna have a choice in the matter. If the U.S. comes in and says you're becoming part of Canada, or actually, okay, let's play that game. Like, are you talking about like blue states and red states?
Well, what I would try to do if I was the U.S. Congress is keep things as neutral as possible. So look at the geography and the people, the demographics, and try to keep things as balanced between blue and red states as could be, right? You don't want to start, because don't forget, every state gets 2 senators.
Yeah.
Right? So congressman is based on population. So the House of Representatives is based on how many people are in a state. But the real power is into the Senate, because every state is equal to senators. So you don't want to start giving states that are, let's say, really red or really blue too much power. So how would you carve up Canada in a way to keep things
Balanced,
the status quo as it is?
How would I do it?
Yeah.
Well, BC would be blue. Alberta obviously would be red.
Yeah.
Manitoba would be red. Saskatchewan would be red. Quebec, this is the interesting one. Quebec would be blue. Ontario, So most of Ontario, if you go outside of Toronto, any big cities, is blue. It's conservative. Sorry, blue conservative, because we have to be careful. So it's like it's blue conservative. So red America.
Ontario would be purple in my eyes. It's purple. It really depends on what's going on in Toronto.
So it's just like, but they because I saw a graph of this the other day, and they kind of drew it up. So it's basically like all of central Canada would be red, and then the outskirts would be blue. If we're talking American red and blue.
Yeah.
That's what it would probably be like. But then there's also like just the foundation of America, and this is why like people will never understand their culture. Like they were founded on uprising against the Brits.
Yeah.
And this is why Canadians don't understand gun culture. But the gun culture, it's not so much they want to keep their guns. They want to keep their guns to protect themselves from a tyrannical government.
Yep.
That's the logic behind it. And that's like kind of built into their DNA as Americans. This is something that Canadians, we just don't seem to understand.
It's distrust of the government.
Yes.
Americans.
And we need to have more distrust of the government 100%. Because like it has, and this is why I always say this, it's been working really well for the past 100 years.
Yeah.
But you get a government like Trudeau that we have right now. This is not just and this is again having a media behind him. It's obvious that something's going on right now. And so how it's just like, it's like a Edward Snowden would always say. So he's like, you're putting the power into the hands of an institution that they'll tell you, no, don't worry, we're not going to abuse our power. And that might go on for a year, 10 years, 15 years, 50 years, 100 years, but eventually they will abuse the power. And this is how America was founded. It's basically so that people weren't allowed to, there was checks and balances everywhere.
Yeah.
And so we have our culture as a whole is like a little bit different. But right now, I mean, people are pissed off in Canada. So I'm kind of getting off topic, going on a tangent here for like what would be blue and what would be red.
We can go back to that. Let's go on a tangent.
Yeah, but it's just like, I don't know. I feel like America is just, it's definitely a different country. I associate a lot with the Americans. I appreciate the fact that we live next to America. I like their mentality. I like how they want to be number one. I like how it's like, and if you're to ask yourself the question, especially, we're both business people, so we definitely look at it through a different lens. But if I could live in Europe right now, or I could live in America, I mean, there's only so many days you can spend on the beach drinking Prosecco. Like eventually, what's
365?
Yeah, but what's your purpose in life eventually? You know what I mean?
Americans are go-getters. Americans are innovators. Most importantly, they're risk takers. Like you said, their entire country was founded on a massive gamble. Because guess what? The founding fathers, had they lost the Revolutionary War, they're being hung. They're dead. They're dead. So
and it happened and this is something that's so funny. So it's basically like they were getting taxed from overseas for a government or a colonial power, we should say, that was doing nothing for them. So they're like, fuck you, we're not going to pay you anymore. And then like,
that was for 2% tax, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
That was for 2% tax.
Fuck you, we're not going to pay you anymore. What the hell are we paying you? Like this is just straight up a tax. You're taxing me for just because we're we're a colony of the Brits.
And people forget this too. If they were men of means and wealth and power, these were not broke ass motherfuckers that just said, I'm fed up with the status quo, let's create a country. These were well off, well-to-do people that could have gone on, by the way, continuing to have a perfect life as it was. But for their conviction and for their beliefs, they were willing to risk it all. And if you read the Declaration of Independence, at the end, that's exactly what they say, relying on, divine providence, we pledge our mutual wealth, fortune, and lives. I'm paraphrasing here, but they were willing to risk everything for the cause of independence. Yeah. Now compare that to Canada. Canada, we're not founded on the same principles. And most Canadians are not like that. No. They're not industrious. They're not risk-taking. No. They're not independent.
They're very conservative. And it's like, especially here in the West Island, when you speak to people, it's like everyone votes. I was having this conversation with someone at family Christmas. Yeah. And I'm like, she goes, well, I'm not a Trump supporter. Okay, no problem. I'm like, why? Goes, he's against abortion. I'm like, no, he gave the decision back to the states, but well, that's him being against abortion. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I go, fair. I go, I don't agree with that, but okay, sure. I go, what else do you not like about him? Yeah. They can never answer the question. Yeah. And I'm like, well, he says stupid things. Yes, he does. Policy-wise. So can you give me some policies, what he does? But here's the point I'm trying to make. They're not even educated on what his policies actually are, just like a lot of other politicians. It's like people don't even know their policies. And if you ask people today in Canada, why would you not vote for the Conservatives here in Quebec? Because Quebec's never conservative. They can't answer the question. They just go, oh, they're anti-abortion, anti-gay. In Canada, no, they're not. No, they're not. That's not true at all. Like, and you're like, well, Andrew Scheer brought up this, and like, yes, he probably said something stupid. Politically, it's political suicide to go anti-abortion or to be anti-gay in Canada. So whether they like it or not, like, it's just not going to happen in Canada. So I always go, that's not true. Next. Give me your point. Elliot, they can never answer the question.
They never can.
And this is why it's like the Conservatives they've done a very poor job marketing themselves to younger people. And the Liberals they have done a very good job because they market themselves in a way that appeals to emotion as opposed to appealing to logic. They feel good. Oh, we're the Liberals. We're good people. We're virtuous. We believe in a better Canada. We want to help out the little guy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
And they never do.
They never do. But it's just like,
thing.
But this is like from a marketing perspective, and this is something that the Conservatives, and I think they've realized this, but I think they're finally realizing that they've done a poor job marketing.
Yeah.
They're going to win the next election, but to continue to stay in power in Canada, they're going to have to get better at that. And this is something also too, here's like another tangent. In principle, it's the right thing to do for Pierre to defund the CBC. And by defund the CBC, that I'm not saying bankrupt them, stop giving them government subsidies.
Yeah.
Is that a wise decision as a political party? So here, let's play this game.
Yeah.
If I was a politician and I want to win politically, I'm going to go up to CBC and I'm going to say, guys, even though it's not right, but you have to pick your battles. I'm going to say, guys, how much the Liberals giving you right now? Like, quote unquote, well, they're giving us this. I'm going to double that. Okay, cool. Now we're talking. And I promise you they will fall in line. I promise you, bro, CBC, they would fire all the woke journalists. They would get a whole pile of new journalists. We could completely change the media landscape of Canada.
Yeah.
Why fight it? You know what I mean? It's already an institution that's there. They have power. Not as much power as they used to. They're on the way out. But, like, they still have power and they still have influence.
Yeah.
And so it's like, as much as it's like, it's wrong and I don't like CBC and I won't watch them. But if you want to run a country and get shit done, why would you want to have the most important media corporation against you? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
It makes complete sense.
Like, just politically, it's like, just like, Pierre, like, just, dude, play the game. It is what it is, because when the Liberals get back in power, they're just going to give more money again.
Of course. What you say makes complete sense. The problem, again, it's even though what you're saying on a strategic standpoint is fucking spot on, but even I can't get behind that just because it's just so against the beliefs that we have.
But we're playing a different game.
We're playing politics.
It's politics.
But
exactly.
this is where I think Trump did really good in the U.S., right? Because, and you're completely correct, the left, the liberals, the Democrats are really good at marketing and appealing to emotions. But when it comes time for policies and for substance, complete opposite.
Yes.
It's a complete bait and switch the whole way. Conservatives or Republicans tend to be poorer when it comes to marketing and with storytelling. But when it comes to actually, doing policies,
yes,
they tend to be a little bit more. They tend to be more efficient. Exactly. What Trump did is that he revolutionized it. He became a marketing. Trump was always a marketing.
He's always
genius.
Been a marketing guy. Yeah,
he's been a marketing genius from the get-go.
Yeah,
and that's probably why he's as, let's call it, famous or well liked.
He's the most famous person in the world today.
Oh, for sure, big time.
You can go to China, you can go anywhere in the world.
Everyone.
Know who Donald Trump
and that's
is.
Another thing too. Outside of the Western world, most people fucking love Trump.
Yeah.
Most people love him.
Yeah.
Europe hates him. Canada hates him for the most part, except for like a few provinces. But like outside of there, man, people love this guy.
Yeah.
But what you're saying again makes complete sense regarding the CBC. It's playing the game. It's a dirty freaking game. But you're right. It would work.
But like you know what I mean? Like just why? Like why defund them? Why? It's like the first rule of gaining power in any country throughout history is like
control the narrative.
Yeah, control the narrative.
Yep.
Russia does it today. China does it today. The U.S. Well, that's like a little different, but like you have to. Germany did it back with the Nazi. I'm not pro-Nazi, but no. One of the first things they had. So there's Hitler and Goebbels. Goebbels was the propaganda czar or whatever you want to call it. you have to control the narrative. And how do you control the narrative? You control the media. And you can control the message that is disseminated to the people.
Yeah.
So why? Because like,
but my concern is this. Okay, I'll tell you this, and this is where maybe I'm idealistic, and maybe why the conservatives tend to not do it. It's because at first it's probably the right thing to do. It's a balance. It's a check. It's a return of the pendulum. The problem is this. I don't necessarily think that liberals are better or worse than the conservatives, or vice versa, conservatives being better than liberals. It can swing both ways to the extremes. Right now in Canada, we're way too to the extreme to the left.
Yes.
But if you give too much power, or you control the media, then the conservatives, the right, can get to the extreme as well. That's not any better, right?
Yes.
And that's my concern. And you're right, like the pendulum needs to return more towards the center, because it's completely...
And it is though. It is. Like,
it's slowly,
and even in Europe, it's starting,
yes,
the same thing's happening. So it's like...
Completely. But I'm against from the get-go any state-controlled media, because again, it leads to the ability of a ruling party to control the people's minds.
But if you have one party that is always going to go back to that playbook, why not just play it? Because you're fighting.
Yeah, but what's the check? Okay, so there's only one politician in this freaking world that I've never met him, never will, but I've seen in history who did the right thing even though he was in power, because power corrupts all, man. Let's be honest. It does.
It does.
The first president of the U.S., George motherfucking Washington. He was elected president, and there was a huge faction of the elite in the U.S. who saw him as potentially a new king. And they said, stay in power, we love you. You should be a king, as a matter of fact. And after 2 terms in office, he willingly stepped down and said, no, my time has passed. It's up to someone new to take the country. He's the one who created...
We're past that.
...the tradition of 2-term presidents. Eventually, it was codified into the Constitution, but it came later, right? There's only one man who's ever done this. Most men in power, especially Trudeau today, want to hold on to it, right?
Yes.
They're comfortable. They love power. People love power. We're hierarchical creatures. We love being at the top.
Yes.
So I get what you're saying, but I'm not necessarily for going all the way to the other side.
I think in a new, anything new is easier to manage. And it's kind of like it's like a business. So a business that's like young, nimble, full of energy, they can do more and fight against companies with more resources because it's just new. They're more nimble. There's less red tape. There's less.
Their agility is a strength.
Yes, they're much more agile.
Yeah.
And so I feel like a new country, again, I'm kind of talking on my ass, but I feel like a new country is kind of the same thing, where so you can have these ideals that still stand in principle because it's new.
Yeah, you make a good point.
I think
That's
at the point now, like the system itself is so, I don't know if corrupted is the word, but let's just call it corrupted.
Rotten.
It's like it is what this is the system we have in place now. And eventually every empire falls. Why do empires fall? Because humans are imperfect and basically we chase power, we chase all these types of things. So eventually, like the system for what it is today is much different than the system of 200 or 300 years ago.
For sure.
Hence my point for if I was a politician and I was a conservative politician, I would play ball. I would attempt to play ball with CBC. And by play ball, I mean, well, they're giving you this, I'll give you this. Come on my side.
It's a quid pro quo.
Yeah,
Quid
like
pro
I would do that.
Yeah.
Like it's just because you know what I mean. Like you're because the liberals are going to do it again right after. And like George Washington,
they will, but it doesn't mean.
But like George
two wrongs don't make it right.
You're right, but I'm saying this is a different game now.
It is, and to save Canada.
But what do you do? Sorry to cut you off, but like, what do you do? Because you know the liberals, the next liberal that gets in power is going to do the same thing.
They're going to keep doing it.
They're going to give money to the CBC to get proper coverage. So what do you do then?
You know what you do? Okay,
because like if you stop, but if you my last point, if you like all of a sudden you're like, no, I'm not going to do this, and you hope that the next liberal prime minister won't do it, they're going to do it. So
they're crooked motherfuckers.
So what do you do?
So what you do is when you get into power, you do the right thing. No, but okay, bear with me, okay? You put in place a system that is not going to get you reelected. It's not going to get you liked, but you're going to do the tough fucking thing. So you're going to pass, for example, right? You have a majority. The Conservative, Pierre Poilievre, gets into parliament, majority. You pass election reforms. You pass, for example, term limits. All things that will make sure that you don't stay in power. The same way Washington stepped down willingly and created a framework that made it so that he wouldn't stay in power. You do the hard thing. Poilievre won't do it. He won't do it because he's a politician like everyone else. I like him. I like him way better than Trudeau. And I will vote for him. I'll tell you right now. I'll vote for him next election, 100%. However, he's after power the same way that Trudeau is after power.
Yes.
So, and this is why I like Trump at the time. The guy was all powerful to begin with, all rich to begin with. He had nothing to gain from running for office.
Yeah.
He lost. He lost.
He's the first president in, I think, well, over the past 50 years, because every president gets rich after, where he actually lost his net worth after becoming the president.
Exactly.
He's not doing it for more money.
That's why I trust this guy.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not to say he's not a little bit egotistical. He is egotistical.
Of course he is. Yes.
I mean, any man.
He wants a legacy.
He wants a legacy. But his legacy inadvertently also helps the U.S. because he cannot have a legacy if the U.S. is not the number one in the world.
Yeah.
So I trust a man like that. He may do things out of personal desire. Gain. But ultimately, it's in line with the gain of the country as well.
I agree.
More people would gain.
I agree with that. And he was talking about this the other day. He just said, he's like, in his first term in 2016, like everyone was like freaking the hell out. Like, what the hell is this? 2020, he lost. 2024, everybody is flying down to Mar-a-Lago to go deal with it. No, it's
Bill Gates even asked Trump recently to go meet with him. How fucked up is that? Did he?
And like Jeff Bezos has gone down. Well, Elon Musk, obviously, like everyone sees that. But like
everyone's kissing the ring.
All the tech guys are flying down. It's different this time.
Zuck as well, by the way.
Yeah, and I think the country is. They're more united this time. I think, like the U.S. is. I am very, very, very bullish on the U.S. and this is why I'm very bullish on Canada, because we are going to piggyback off of the productivity of the United States. Everyone's in line. Yes, you still have like the far left radicals and stuff that they're never going to change. They're dangerous, but the country as a whole. I mean, the election was a landslide. That was a landslide.
It was.
They were not supposed to win the popular vote. They won the popular vote. Like this was the whole country was red.
Harris did not swing or turn any county.
None.
Not a single district.
I listened to a podcast with Tucker Carlson, and I forget the gentleman's name, but he was one of the like a top guy at the Teamsters Union, and so. On the podcast, we're talking about the good blue-collar Boston guy, just like such a classic Teamsters guy. No, but like I liked him. I didn't agree with everything he was saying, but like he's a union guy. But he brought up a lot of good points. And so they had the presidential candidates come in, and they had 16 questions for the presidential candidates. So he goes, we call it Trump, we call it this. Trump says, "When do you want me down?" Biden came, and then eventually Harris switched for Biden.
Yeah.
And so they had 16 questions. Harris got there. She goes, "I'm only answering 3." And so they go, "Who the fuck do you think you are? Like this is 1 point." Teamsters employ, or I don't want to say employ, but they have 1.3 million.
Rep.
Yeah, they represent 1.3 million workers in the United States. And it's not just learn this. It's not just transport. There's like UPS. There's people at Amazon. There's like they represent a wide variety of blue-collar workers across the United States in multiple industries. And so she gets there, and so she was supposed to answer 16 questions. She goes, "I'm only answering 3." They get to the 4th question. One of the handlers puts a letter right in front of her. She goes, "This is going to be the last question I answer." This just the arrogance. And then on top of this, so once it's done, and again, whether this is true or not, who knows, but I don't know why this guy would lie. Once she's done answering the question, she looks at the Teamster guy and goes, "We're going to win with or without you. You better get in line." And he said she did it with the finger. You better fucking like get in line and vote for the Democrats. But just the sheer arrogance of the Democrats, and it's kind of the same thing as the liberals. It's as opposed to having the mentality, like a democracy is supposed to be the government works for the people.
Yeah.
The Democrats and the liberals today, they act as if they are the king or the queen.
Yeah,
and it's like you're gonna do as what I say.
Yeah,
and that's not like so. The country that we're in is a very different country from when George Washington founded the United States, and like that's just this sheer arrogance.
It is
is prevalent amongst people on the left, and when you speak to people on the left, they're especially the smart ones, because typically speaking, they're educated. They're arrogant.
Incredibly
They're arrogant.
That is such a good point.
They're so arrogant.
It's the holier than thou.
Yeah.
Always.
I'm smart. I'm educated. You're not. Listen to me.
You don't even know what's good for you.
Yes, and I
You know?
and I remember there's this girl I was hanging out with her. This is a couple of years ago, and it's like I really this really took me aback.
Mm-hmm.
And we're having a debate. She was like a pretty hardcore from Toronto, hardcore liberal, and I was like, so we got into the debate, and then I'm like, I believe that people should be allowed to make their own choices.
Yeah.
She said the quiet part out loud. She goes, they're not smart enough to make their own choices. We have to make the choices for them. No, but these people, they act like an elitist Toronto person. She had a good job. She had money. She like that upbringing. They actually believe this.
You know what it reminds me of? Those videos of there was this Jewish guy. I forgot his name, but he would go on campuses in New York, like Columbia University, for example, right?
Ben Shapiro?
No, it's another guy. Forget his name, but he would go onto campuses and ask about, for example, voter ID laws, right? So, are voter ID laws good, legitimate, or is it racist? And everyone at Columbia University would be, it's racist. Black people, they can't fucking they can't get their ID. And then he would go. His name was Moishe something.
It's so condescending.
And then he would go to the Bronx, or he would go to Harlem, right? And then he'd just stop random people on the street, being like, "Do you have ID?" "Yeah, I've got ID." "What the fuck are you talking about?"
"Yeah, I got ID."
Yeah, there you go. Do people have ID?
The one where they said they don't have access to the internet or something.
Exactly.
No, it's like
that.
They make it seem it's so condescending. It's like
it is
insane. Like, are you saying black people are stupid? It's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. It's like, no, but it's kind of indirectly what you're saying.
It's 100% what you're saying.
They're too stupid to get their own ID. Therefore, we can't have voter ID
there you
laws.
go.
It's ridiculous.
It's
crazy.
fucking wild.
It's crazy. It's
and
crazy.
I've never seen, but the problem is this: they come from a point of I'm doing this for the good of the people, and it's like, yo, you're the most racist motherfucker I've ever met when you say these things.
Fucking piece of shit.
I completely agree. By the way I would carve up Canada is like this. Okay,
Yeah,
this is how I would carve up Canada to keep it as
we're
neutral.
getting enthusiastic. Yeah. Okay.
All right, Canada would be carved this following way. Because we spoke about it over the holidays, right? It was a huge topic in our family. My family is very political, but very much in line with the way we think. So we're willing to talk about anything. So the consensus was Canada needs to be carved up in 3 states. It's going to keep it very neutral, but also regionally speaking in a way that people feel represented. First of all, we got BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan.
As
right?
one state.
One state.
Oh, to balance it out.
To balance it out, because the BCs are super liberal, and then
less than before. But go ahead.
They are, but they're NDP voters. They're not even liberals. They're NDP voters, right?
Yeah.
So they're very much to the left.
Yeah.
Right. They're pot smokers.
Yeah.
Not that I'm against it, but nonetheless. So you balance out the coastal elites again with the Alberta kind of blue collar and Saskatchewan. That becomes one state. You put Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec together. Now, that's going to be a kind of a fucked up love child right there. But nonetheless, this is going to keep it neutral because Ontario, like I said, is purple. Ontario's purple, right?
Could be blue, could be red.
Quebec is going to be liberal. Manitoba is going to be more, conservative. So together, they can swing one way or the other, and that's balanced. And then you put the Atlantic together, right? So New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, PEI, and Newfoundland. Okay, that's...
Atlantic's pretty liberal as well.
Oh, that's going to be red.
Yeah.
Well,
it'll be
red liberal,
Canadian red,
blue,
American
US,
blue,
American blue. Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So that's a lost cause, but fair enough. The territories, you keep them territories. They're territories right now. They have no fucking rights to begin with, right? So keep them. It's a new port. Just keep them there.
Sure, who cares?
Right, who cares? So territories stay territories, right? It's Puerto Rico is going to feel a little bit better about itself.
That's for 10,000 voters. It's
none of it can stay.
Yeah.
When I was living in Alberta, right? Oh man, what was the joke? I had this foreman. His name was Buddy. Yeah, a great fucking name for a foreman, Buddy. And he's like, why is the the capital of Nunavut? Why did they call the province, the fucking Nunavut province, what it is called today? I was like, I don't fucking know, Buddy. It's because nobody wants none of it. I was like, all right, buddy, sure, fair enough. Anyways, so keep the provinces. Now you have 3 new states, which are fairly balanced in the whole grand scheme of things. That's how I would do it.
Do you think that just to finish off here, do you think the U.S. will ever like invade Canada?
Invade? No, I don't think they will invade Canada. But ultimately,
I mean, like if they had, like, just let me add something onto that. If ever they got a president, I don't think Trump will be that president, but let's say all of a sudden that they want the resources and they feel like Canada isn't extracting the resources as they properly should for energy. I think that if I'm all of a sudden like a more extreme president than Trump, I'm going to enforce like my will on the country.
Yeah, strong on Canada.
Yeah, I'm going to say, no, we're going to take your resources.
It won't be an invasion. It'll be like, we're doing it one way or the other. And Canada's not going to do shit.
What are we going to do?
We're going to do nothing about it.
What are we going to do about it?
But again, for Canadians,
I would be one guy though. Like I will say this: if ever, like, obviously there's not going to be an invasion, but if ever there was an invasion and there was like army people and they were coming on my street, I'd be freaking bringing them into my house.
I'm giving them flowers.
No, I would literally be like, boys, come on in, boys.
I got some brews. I got some drinks.
Yeah. Be like, and like we'd actually get along with the culture. We'd speak English. Like, boys, come on in. What do you guys want for dinner?
I got this AR-15 Trudeau wants to confiscate. You guys need it.
Yeah.
Like, you want to use it?
That would be the easiest invasion ever.
Oh my god! Welcome in. You guys are welcome.
That would be such an easy invasion.
I saw this guy mention this, and he said, okay. Let's say I'm a business owner. You're an investor. You give me 50%. Let's say you give me 50% of your money to invest, right? And I double your money. You'd be pretty happy about it, right? You'd be like, fuck, I'll keep giving you my money. You're making me money.
Yeah.
Now, let's say I'm same situation. You give me 50% of your money and I fucking blow it on crack. like fucking Hunter. But anyways,
I won't give you more money.
You're going to be pretty mad. You'll be like, what the fuck did you do with my money?
I wouldn't like that, no.
That's Canada right now.
Yeah.
I'm giving Canada, you're giving Canada roughly 50% of your money. Yeah. And what are they doing? They're fucking blowing it.
Yeah.
If Canada took my money.
They're sending it. I heard there's a thing the other day. We sent $53 million to Tanzania.
What?
For like some women gender or something. I don't know, like something. I'm like, I don't even know that country. It's like East Africa, I think, or something. But it's like, what are we doing here?
I have no issue with Tanzania. I just have a problem with my money going there.
And I can promise you that $53 million is not making it to whatever benefit, whatever cause you think it's going to, it's not.
It ain't.
It's just going to the politicians going to run his pocket.
And then the politicians are going to be, we're going to keep 50% and we're going to send the other 50% back to Trudeau and his fucking shell company.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's this. Yeah. The government is doing this, right? They're taking your fucking hard-earned money and they're investing it in literally fucking smoking crack cocaine. You'd be pissed. You have to start seeing it that way and holding your elected officials accountable for the same. If the government took half of your money and invested it and made it into a better country, more efficient fucking transport network, better healthcare, more secured border, just overall your quality of life was increasing, you'd be like, you know what? It's worth it. Nobody would complain. But instead, they're sending it to Tanzania. They're fucking putting it in their pockets. They're doing the stupidest fucking shit with it. And we're done with it. We're just done with it. US, take us over. Cut my taxes. I don't care about healthcare. I want to be in Florida. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's get out. That's the KBD podcast. See you later. Thanks, Elliot.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.